Hey everyone, Dan here. Welcome to the next episode of Growing a $100 Account. I hope you're enjoying the series. A couple of things to keep in mind. One, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your own decisions based on that. And this is a series, and I hope that you're enjoying it that way. That said, if you want to watch things out of order or hop around, I understand. You should definitely do whatever you think is best. Also, these are probably often good candidates for speeding up to 2x on YouTube or 1.5x or what have you, but we do just watch the market in real time for a lot of the video. So if you want to kind of get through that or just slow it back down when you see something about to happen, that might make a lot of sense for these videos. All right, be sure to like and subscribe and enjoy. All right, everyone, we are just a minute or two before market open on Tuesday, August 10th. I have my coffee. I have my account pulled up here. You can see we're starting the day at 105 and some change. I was taking a look at the top gainers in the pre-market, which Webull serves up to you pretty nicely. Someday, maybe if it's of interest to folks, we'll go through some of the screeners that they have in here. But let me know in the comments if that would be interesting to you or not. But you see some really nice movers today. ZEV was interesting to me because they actually have some really good news where they are looking to, they got this $850 million deal, or I think it could be valued at $850 million. I think that's speculation, but that obviously is pretty impactful, and that one is of extra interest to me because of the real news. So anything that has kind of real news is extra interesting to me versus something that's moving just because of who knows why. I'm not saying that this one is, but yeah, so here, there's a lot of times you'll see particularly biotechs come in with these news, and sometimes they just fizzle very, very quickly. So those can be kind of tough. That's why I like something with what I say is like a real news cycle here. What I'd be looking for in ZEV, though, is it ran up so much in the pre-market. I'd look for it to pull back and maybe try to catch an entry off this 200 or something. We'll see how the MACD and the RSI are doing at that moment too. Also, I want to make sure that I don't squander away what I have going on here. So I want to watch these quite closely. I think I might give AMC a trailing stop loss around 2% just because we know that it has a tendency to have some wild fluctuations, but I kind of just wanted to watch them at open anyway and see WISA at some points in the, you see way back here, this was up at like almost 450 and it was up well over 10% at one point, and I've been watching it, and I saw it come down here, but then the bearish momentum was dying down on the MACD, so I stayed in through market open, and now I figured, if we can get some green momentum going here, maybe establish above these MAs, then I'll throw a trailing stop loss on it and just let that take care of it. But it was looking really good pre-market, so I'm hoping that the pre-market took care of kind of an initial pop and then filling a gap that would have left, which all of that price action could have taken care of, and then now we're able to go pretty green on open, but obviously we'll see what happens. And then with AMC, obviously this is just a very, very volatile one. They did have earnings yesterday, right? And so there's a bunch of that sort of extra news coming in, extra interest. I mean, look at all these news stories. It's just nutty. But yeah, there was all these like crazy stories that came out last night that, were like, earnings prove that it's not worth what it's trading at. And so there's like stuff like this that comes out that they beat on earnings and revenue, but they're still losing money and so on and so forth. And so of course the stock is still not worth what it's trading at and all this stuff. So whatever, but I don't think that that's going to really like be a big driver for retail, at least in my guesstimation, but we'll see. What was that one, ZEV? Keep an eye on this, see if we get any decent dip here. Unfortunately, the ones that are dipping are the ones that I'm holding, which I wish WISA would pick up here. Need some volume coming in. It's decent volume, but it was mostly pre-market. I need this, market open volume to really pick up. The other movers here, I saw Fisker was moving also. Could be kind of interesting. They have this huge, I think, target announced at $40 per share. So that could definitely move this quite a bit more. That might be something that I'd be interested in taking on sooner than later. Though it's really high on the MAC, well, not that high on the MACD. It's really high on the RSI at the moment. I'd kind of rather see it come down and test the 50 range of the RSI and kind of pick something up around, say, here if it comes down there. But I mean, that's really good, solid news, kind of like ZEV. And so I don't know if there's going to be much of a dip to take advantage of, but keep an eye on that one as well. Let me go to recently viewed here. We'll put in Fisker just because it makes it easier to click through what I've recently looked at. Come on, WISA, get back up there. I mean, if I don't catch an exit on WISA or even like a trailing stop loss this sets in this morning's video or while I'm watching it this morning, I think that's generally okay. I mean, obviously yesterday I took a loss because I didn't sell soon enough, but we just have to keep an eye on it. But I mean, that's just going to be part of this process, right? There's going to be red days and green days. And like I said, yesterday was a bigger red day than I would have liked. But so it goes. Where are we on the account here? Okay, so AMC is about 6% to the green for me. So I might set a trailing stop loss of about 2% on it now, just so that I don't get hit with a loss on there and I lock in some decent profit. That'll at least claw back what I lost at that DraftKings option at the end of the day yesterday. So maybe I'll set that close position. We're going to do trailing stop of 1%. Once you get used to this, they do have really nice sort of features in here. So, oh wait, I was going to go 2%. Trailing stop. Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens. And then WISA is holding on at the moment. And then how's our potential entries? Okay, Fisker might come down a bit. RSI is coming down, but that MACD is really holding strong. And then ZEV just putting up a battle. That was my coffee. Have a nice iced cold brew coffee. I'm a big coffee, big wine, big beer person. And I'm thinking about doing some videos. I don't know if this would be fun or interesting to anyone, where I sort of talk a bit about the coffee that I'm drinking, or if it's a later afternoon video, talk about some of the wine or the beer that I'm drinking and like have it during the video and sort of like use that as a non-trading thing to talk about. I don't know if that would be interesting at all. Let me know. I could just sort of present it as sort of a preamble to the video and then cut in with the video so that it doesn't take up too much time, and then just sort of like mention it in the video. But if folks would like coffee, beer, wine recommendations, let me know. Whew, ZEV is really holding. Look at this average volume, just over 500,000. Boy. But that's big. Let me see here. Actually, oh goodness. Okay. So their market cap. Okay, so they do have a pretty substantial market cap, $5.5 billion. So I mean, that said, that $850 million contract, pretty significant. Oh, sorry, that was Fisker. Well, this says that I'm on ZEV. That was the confusion there. Okay, yeah, see, their market cap is only $703 million. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. That was weird. ZEV was highlighted over here, but we were on Fisker still. Bizarre. Definitely some weird things in this app. This is the iOS app, by the way. Yeah, I guess. It's on a Mac, but it's the desktop app for Mac from Weeble. Oh, WISA, come on. I don't want to play this game with you today. Goodness gracious. Super annoying. I mean, at least we're still green for the week. Today, I think, is exactly 1 week from when I started trading the account. So whatever we close at today will be our actual 1 week gain, I think. Because I think I started it last Tuesday. So right now, a little over 3% because we started with $100 on the Nuggin. So easy math there for my early morning brain. So we have a bullish crossover here. And this is sort of testing this midline of the RSI that I was talking about before. But as you can see, it did a head fake over here too, right? It looked like it was going to bullish crossover and then peeled down further. I would really like to get an entry around that 200. I mean, I don't even know that it would bounce off the 200 because everything was so flat back here. It wasn't as though it necessarily bounced off of anything. And then look at how ugly the previous price action is to try and decipher. I mean, I could move this up to a 5-minute chart, but I mean, still, it's just not really moving much of anything. So that's not really that helpful. Plus, a day with news like this, it's really hard to know exactly how it's going to take at any given point. And so they're risky moves, right? They are risky moves, but you hope that there's somewhat calculated risks. Oh, WISA, my goodness gracious. Why in the world? I think they have an actual call at 11 o'clock or something. Where's my earnings whisperer? Oh, and also something I was thinking of is going live with some of these. So let me know in the comments if that would be interesting to you, because obviously we're doing this in somewhat, I'm recording this in real time, obviously, which is always the case, but you get this video quite a bit after this is already done. And so my question is basically if this would be interesting to folks in real time. And it might make some of the sitting here and watching a little bit more palatable, because if you're watching it also in real time and not just looking at it after the fact, that might, I don't know, be more interesting. Let's see, I thought that they had a call scheduled for 11 a.m. or something, but that could be wrong. Because if so, I think the guidance is still pretty strong. So unless they say something wonky on that call that's not pleasing to people, then it might recover based on that. Okay, we'll host a conference call at 8:30 a.m. ET, 30 a.m. Eastern. Okay. I don't know why they're putting Pacific time in there. Maybe that's where they're located. So 11:30 a.m. today to provide a business update. Okay. So I might just hold out for that, and I know that could bite me in the butt. But again, these are just piecing together information and making the best decision that you can, given the info that you have, right? So like I said, calculated risk. These are all risky positions, but it's sort of the way I'm choosing to approach building an account with $100. MVST was a one that was moving too, I think, in the pre-market. I think that's the Wall Street Bets potential darling at the moment. Swaggy have anything on that? Swaggy has everything you need for Wall Street Bets information. Is this up to date? Moderna. Okay, Palantir, which we had a video on last night. Copy. Oh, okay, I don't see it here. Maybe I'm thinking, were they heavily shorted? MVST. Short. Oh, 100% utilization rate. I don't know why they don't know what the percentage of the free float is, but okay. Oh yeah, this has got to be really heavily shorted, I would think, with these two data points that I have, I don't know why this isn't showing what the percentage of the float is, but because the cost to borrow, that's relatively high. I mean, that wouldn't be that high if it was incredibly low short interest, at least not in my experience. Maybe there's reasons why, but this utilization rate is 100, which that means, if you're unfamiliar, 100% means that all shares available to borrow or lend at a lending program have in fact been lent. So there's no more shares left to borrow to short. So that to me says shorts are coming in as heavy as they can, and at this point they don't have anything else that they can borrow. So you're dealing with that kind of pressure, but that also unlocks the possibility of a true short squeeze, not just the hyped short squeeze that we catch a lot of today. Oh, this must have stopped out. Let's see what happened. Yeah, so we got stopped out of AMC, but at least we didn't go red on that. And now if WISA would stop pooping the bed, then that would be good. But we have 73 in buying power, so we could try to take advantage of some of these. But the problem is I only have one day trade left, as you see down here, because I burned that one yesterday, and even then I took a loss on it. So okay, ZEV. So it's establishing over the 20 again, which could be a good bullish sign. Bullish crossover at the moment. RSI struggling at the midline again. So this is my biggest question at the moment, is what's happening with ZEV on the RSI, because we do see it's coming down here at the moment. Now if it can peak above these, what are these areas at, then 54, 55. So if we can get going over 55 here, there might be a nice push coming, but we'll see. Let's queue up what this could look like just in case. I definitely don't want 10. I would take, what did I say, I have 70 something, so I'd take maybe again about a $30 position. So I'd take about 3 of these and see if we can make anything out of it. Yeah, so it's looking good on the MACD, but it is struggling at that midline of the RSI, which concerns me from a buying pressure perspective. But let's see what happens here. Still trying to fight back. I wonder if they're getting any jumping in from shorts who are trying to take advantage of hopping on. Oh, I wonder if they were just already heavily shorted. So this would have been the last reported date, I think. Percentage of the free float on loan, estimated short interest, percentage of the free float, 15. So it would have already been pretty high. Shorts could be coming in a little bit today, but they don't have that much more that they can jump in unless they start to naked short, because that utilization is so high. So if they start to close out a bunch, I mean, they're still coming in. So if this price can hold strong and that utilization is so high, they can't really try to manipulate it down, at least not without naked shorting. And so that could prevent them from introducing a bunch of inorganic selling pressure, and could cause them to just cover and just say, okay, I'm going to cover, and the extent to which that makes the price run up even more, then I'll just go ahead and hop back in and short at that point. So you see that a lot. So let's say that made it squeeze up to 13 or something. It's just totally a made up number, but what you could see them doing is closing out, squeeze it up pretty high, and then just jump back in and start shorting it again. So that's certainly always a strong possibility. Okay. This is like a riskier entry than I would like, but it might be worth it. I mean, it's holding really, really solid here. And that is really good news, especially with a stock whose market cap is 7.25 million. Again, if you didn't catch it before, this is basically saying after $850 million EV deal with Berkshire Hathaway's Forest River. So it's a good catalyst for a stock whose market cap is less than that. Okay, what's Fisker doing? Because they had some real news as well. Okay. And okay, so they're bouncing up the 200. MACD's down near the baseline. Now the question is, it's really far from a crossover though, whereas ZEV has the crossover established above the 20. Which has held relatively well previously, but now it's looking like it's going to bearish crossover. Okay. Well, Fisker might be crushing this bearish momentum pretty quickly. What's their momentum or their volume look like? Yeah. Okay. Okay, and I like how they're holding the midline. Let me put in. I mean, I would really only grab like one. The problem is I can't get into too many of these today though because I can't close them out if I don't want to hold them overnight. I can only close one of them out. So that's additionally dicey. So we're in a bunch of dicey positions today. A bunch of dicey situations, I guess I should say. It's Fisker's situation with over the 20. Okay. Just trying to see if it has really solid possibilities previously of establishing over the 20, because that's what it's doing right now. Generally it does, but that doesn't mean anything. But there's other good factors here. It's holding the RSI really well, and it is approaching a bullish crossover here on the MACD. So maybe I take two of these because I can't, what in the world? I can't get locked into too many trades today. And so maybe I put a little bit more into each of the trades. I guess the alternative to that is I could just keep more cash on the sidelines and play it a little safer. See, the thing that's the struggle though is there's all this topping out here, and so can it really bust through this area? Right, that $20 price point might be a pretty tough psychological step to take, but we'll see. See if we can hold the 20 here. Coffee's so good. I really, it's maybe obvious, I really want to jump into ZEV because I think that news is really great, but I just don't want to catch a bad entry. That said, I also don't want to just pretend like I can catch the falling knife or something, because that's in my estimate, it's a bad headspace to be in. I might go MVST just because of the squeeze potential here. This is looking like well, I mean, I guess ZEV does also at this point, right? Yeah, that utilization rate. What is this company? Oh, okay. The SPAC. Yeah, it's the only thing I don't like is these big greens and followed right up by these big reds. Wow. Oh, okay. ZEV also has squeeze potential, like we were talking about. So I wonder if Vortex is updated. I think they always leave this like 7 a.m. update thing there, but it definitely, yeah, see, it already changed since we last looked. So shorts are continuing to come in. That utilization, like we said, is getting mighty close to 100. So at some point, they're not going to be able to borrow anymore shares to sell. And then the question becomes, what are they going to do? Okay. I mean, on the lower trend line, we're getting a solid trend up here for ZEV. I mean, actual catalyst wise, I think that this is like the best of what is there. The squeeze is like a double-edged sword to me, because if you can effectuate an actual squeeze, like, yeah, this could pop off really, really solid later today. But the other factor is they're coming in and they're continuing to come in, so that just adds selling pressure that skews the supply and demand equation and makes it appear as though there's a lot more selling pressure than there actually organically is. And so you do have to contend with that. Like, that's a real thing. It's not like, oh, just because shorts are still coming in and there's already a high short interest that you can squeeze. It's like, well, you're caught in a situation where you're having to fight the shorts in real time. So there's that factor as well. So that's the thing that sort of gives me pause. Plus, we're almost an hour into, or sorry, almost a half an hour into the open right now, and it's just kind of stuck at this $10, topping out point. But we did start to make a series of higher lows here. MACD, could certainly explode at this point. It's just above the baseline. And the RSI is also making a bunch of higher lows and I guess higher highs at this point. All right, I might have just talked myself into an entry. All right, we're going to go for it. All right, we'll see what happens. But it's going to be volatile for a little bit. How bad is WISA beating me up? Ugh, WISA. So I'm going to have to hope on WISA that this 11:30 a.m. Eastern time call sort of builds some momentum back and that it can peel back. But right now it's feeling like a similar situation that I took with Epizyme yesterday, where it was up in the double digits percentage-wise in the pre-markets, and then it just got slaughtered. But Epizyme was because their reported earnings were poor, whereas WISA they reported good earnings. They beat expectations. So I think the challenge for them is that they're still losing money, probably. And so that's obviously a tough spot to be in. All right, so Fisker could be coming down. MVST. Okay. All right, so right now we're tied up. We have $40. So maybe I'll come back in the midday and see if there's anything that seems worth picking up. And just hope that like WISA is finding a floor here and it's going to chill out a little bit so that it can pop on that call at 11:30. We can get green and I can set myself a trailing stop loss, but we'll see. Okay, well, that'll do it for this one. We may have one or two more videos today. We'll see. It just depends if there's a midday buy or not, but regardless, toward the end of the day, I'll likely make a video at least to see if I'm going to close out any of these positions and if I'm going to use that $40 or so to set up some play for overnight, which has been the bane of my existence at the moment, is not being able to have unlimited day trades. But that's the situation that you're in with $100. So that's what we're dealing with. All right, well, I hope you all have a good trading day ahead, and I will see you in the next video.